Yes? No? Okay, yes. Samsung. This is like very pathetic. Well, how many of you have your phones with you? Yeah. Can you do me a favor, go to vedabase.io. VEDABAC, vedabase.io. Go to chapter 4, Bhagavad Gita, chapter 4. And you can open verse number 20. So that's what we are supposed to do today. Okay. So before we begin, how many of you are coming here for the first time? Can you raise your hand? Okay. This is brief intro where you are a student working or where you working. Your name. Yeah.
I am Swaroop. I am a medical student. I have come here for an observer, 1 month observer.
Where are you coming from? Which part
India,
of India?
Bangalore.
Bangalore, Kannada,
Ah, but
Very good. Okay, nice to meet you. And you are?
Dvano?
Dwanal.
Yes, Dvano.
Okay.
And I've been 2 years out of college, so just a working grad. Or sorry, just working now, yeah.
You study, you are working in New York?
Yeah, I work in New York, yeah.
Where in New York?
I work at Meta as an engineer.
Meta, okay.
Yeah.
Very nice. And your name is again?
Dvano,
Dwanal.
yeah.
Thank you, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Yes?
Natasha. I'm also living here for 2 years. I work at Datadog.
Datadog?
Yeah.
Okay. Yes.
Obey. I'm also here for 2 years, working at Coinbase.
At Quill?
Coinbase?
Coinbase.
Coinbase.
Coinbase?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Coin. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
I think I met before.
Yeah, I'm Shubham. I'm doing my master's at Inlight.
Thank you. And how are you?
I'm Sham. I moved here 5 days ago, but I've been out of college for 2 years now. I'm at Microsoft.
At Microsoft?
Yeah.
So my brother's name is Abhay.
Oh, really?
Yeah, my father's name is Shamsu. And I'm from Bangalore.
Wow. That's awesome.
You want to try again?
Yeah.
Anyway, I've told them to go on to Vedas. So, what we're doing now is we are studying the 4th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita.
A little bit high.
I think the ceiling is growing on us.
It has, because it's white
I
as
think
well. I
we
think it
leave it for
feels.
today.
More
Just
open.
reset.
Yeah.
Leave it for today. So in the first chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, just to give a context, in the first chapter of the Gita, Krishna. Actually, there's some new faces here also. You want to introduce yourself quickly? Yes.
I'm Shivani. I'm doing the master's at Inlight.
Anyway, nice to meet you. You are?
I'm Shivani. I'm also doing the master's at Inlight.
Thank you. And Amit?
I'm Harika. I'm doing the master's at
St. Peter's. Your Suruja's sister. Your sister, nothing.
I'm Pranavi. I'm doing the master's at
At St. Peter's. Thank you. Anyone else? You? The first time? Okay. So just to give a context, we have gone through chapter 1, 2, 3, and we are in the 4th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. Chapter 1, Arjuna presented his excuses why not to fight the war. And chapter 2 and 3, Krishna spends his time defeating Arjuna's arguments. Mostly in chapter 2, defeats all of Arjuna's arguments. And in chapter 2, Krishna defeats Arjuna's arguments by speaking at a platform higher than the platform of which he got doubts. That means material problems, spiritual solutions. So Krishna spoke on Atma Gyan. Atma Gyan means the science of soul. So in the universities today, you study about the 5 elements. You study about ether in sounds acoustics. You study about earth in thermodynamics. You study about what is water in which field do you study water? Element.
Fluid,
Sorry?
fluid dynamics.
Fluid dynamics, yeah. And then you study about air in
Aerodynamics.
aerodynamics. Really? Does it feel aerodynamics?
Yeah.
Good. Actually, thermodynamics is to do with heat. So you study fire element and earth element. Where do you study?
Geology.
Geology. You study earth element, not earth globe. I'm talking about the earth element.
Soil
And you,
mechanics.
sorry,
Soil mechanics.
solid mechanics.
Soil.
Soil mechanics.
Yeah.
Soil mechanics. Okay. Anyways, I'm pretty sure we are all computer science engineers here. So, and we also study. Sorry? Doctor. And we also study about mind in psychology, psychiatry, isn't it? That means the gross body in second chapter Krishna introduces what the, of course in 7th chapter he says, the material energy comprises of 8 elements, Bhumi, Rapo, Nalo, Vayu, Kham, and the 3 subtle elements called as Man, Buddhi, Ahankar. These are 8 elements that comprise material energy. So the gross body is made up of Panch Mahabhut. Of course, I cannot show you any diagram today because somehow Krishna is not allowing. So the technology is not allowing. So the gross body is what you can see mine, I can see yours. And the subtle body is where your mind is. Anyone knows what is mind? Do you know what is mind? Where is mind? In the brain? So that's the brain. Hmm? Vivek is discriminatory power of the intelligence. Or at least the people who have been attending. What is mind? Good question. And what is intelligence? No, it's not byproduct of mind. And what is ego? Does anyone know? No, really, you guys don't know mind. I mean, I don't know what I'm teaching 4th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita.
Mind is storehouse of all our memories.
Very good. Yeah, mind is like the hard disk. In a computer, you have hard disk which stores all the softwares, it stores all the files. So similarly, mind is like the hard disk, which stores our memories, our thoughts, our desires, our experiences, isn't it? If you have seen gulab jamun before, and now when you see next gulab jamun, you feel some attraction towards it, based on your past experience. But where is this experience stored? In the mind. Yeah.
Is it not a man?
Mind, yeah. I'm using English. Yeah, mind, same thing. And then you have buddhi. Buddhi is the intelligence. Anyone knows what is the function of intelligence?
To think.
To think, okay, as mind. Thinking, feeling, willing happens in the mind.
Power of discrimination.
Yeah, discriminate, to differentiate right from the wrong is a function of intelligence. Right? So, more we study the Bhagavad Gita, we are nourishing our intelligence. And now we understand what is right, what is wrong. This is the discriminative power. It's compared to the CPU, the central processing unit. Because central processing unit also decides which task requires, which process needs what, how many resources. Too many computer science engineers, you can correct me from wrong. And then you also have Ahankar. Ahankar is? Ego, but what is it?
Karta bhav.
What is Karta Bhav?
I am doing this, I am doing that, I will do this, I will do that.
Okay, not just that, something more that can define ego. How many of you have ego? Yeah, we all do. I have ego. You all have ego. Whether it's false ego or true ego is the question. So what is ego? Seniors at least. Seniors.
Identity.
Yes, identity. Ego is identity. What do you identify with? If I say I'm studying at NYU, that's my ego. If I say I'm an IITian, that's my ego. If I say that I'm a Meta employee, that's my ego. It's not necessarily wrong or bad, it doesn't mean anything negative. But what do you identify with is ego. Only thing is, what is false ego? Any designation we accept which is not pertaining to the soul is said to be false ego. That means it can change. Today you may be working in Meta, but tomorrow if another Apple offers you a better offer, you might switch. Then you will not say I'm a Meta employee. You will say I'm an Apple employee. So ego changed. So therefore it's called as false because it's temporary. The true ego never changes. That is our position of the soul is always, it's eternal. We will not go into the position of soul as of now. We'll come to that eventually. So therefore, material energy, you have how many elements total?
8.
8 elements. 5 are Panch Mahabhut. That is fire, air, water, ether and earth. And then you have 3 subtle elements, which is mind, intelligence and ego. This is what we deal with when we say material energy. Matter means these 8 things. And then we also have spiritual energy. Now which is, we can say, which is inferior energy and which is superior energy?
Spiritual is superior.
Okay. And material is inferior. Why do you say so?
Because spiritual energy is eternal. We just can't access it through a material means, but it is eternal, overpowering.
And material energy?
Material energy, it can be destroyed, but spiritual energy, it's
Actually, material energy is also eternal.
yeah.
The manifestations of material energy is temporary. That means the remote can be destroyed, but the energy gets transformed. You study that, right? In some law. So the energy itself is eternal. Material energy is also eternal. So why spiritual energy is superior to material energy, if you say so? Or if you think material energy is superior to spiritual energy, why do you say so?
Without spiritual energy, material cannot exist.
Without spiritual, material cannot exist. Why do you say?
You need something, you need a source of energy to create something. Material is in existence because of some energy. That energy could be spiritual.
Okay.
That energy is spiritual.
Spiritual energy is the one that guides the material energy.
Okay, good. Close. Answer is very close. Okay, anything else?
Could it be because it crosses more dimensions?
Because it causes?
Spiritual energy can cross dimensions.
It causes dimension. Crosses dimensions. Okay. Actually, in the material world itself, there are so many dimensions which we are not even aware of. Any other reason? It's very simple actually. You guys are thinking too ahead. Why is spiritual energy superior to material energy? Seniors would like to give a try. Yeah?
Without spiritual energy, there won't be any material energy.
And that's what Drew also
that's
said.
what he said.
Yeah. I'm looking for something more. Like for example, what is material energy? Can you give examples? What constitutes material energy? Or what examples of material energy in our day-to-day lives?
Spiritual energy controls material energy.
Okay, very good. What's the name?
Because spiritual energy controls material energy.
Hey, are you Venkatesh?
Venkatesh
speaking? Yeah. He got it. So material energy examples are anything made up of matter, like the table, our body, the phone, all the gadgets. Anything you made up of the Panch Mahabhut and the 3 elements constitute material energy. And the living entities constitute spiritual energy. So spiritual energy means the spirit soul. So spiritual energy has the spiritual energy has life. So what makes spiritual energy better than material energy? Spiritual energy controls material energy. Krishna says in 7th chapter, Bhumi rapo nalo vayu kham mano buddhare vacha ahankara me etiyam me bhinna me prakriti rashtana apareyam itastvayam vidhi me prakriti param. But Arjuna, he stated the material energy. Then he said, superior to this, I have another energy which is a superior energy. Who are they? Jiva Bhuta Mahabahu Yayedam Dharate Jagat. and they are the ones manipulating matter in this world. So wherever we are manipulating matter to some degree, whether gross matter or subtle matter. Isn't it? So in the second chapter, Krishna is explaining to Arjuna, you are not this body, you are not the gross body, nor are you the subtle body, but you are the spirit soul. And why is this knowledge very important? Because to the degree we internalize, to the degree we find out who we are, to that degree we can unlock that potential. Many people who are on the bodily platform, for example, not 100%, but for example, if someone is on bodily platform, he is just working towards perfecting his body. They might go to gym, they are perfecting their skill, they just want to look handsome or look beautiful. They just work on the bodily platform. And bodily deficiencies can hinder their progress in material life, isn't it? Oh, I don't look good enough, so they go into depression. I'm not very tall. I'm not very fair. So you're fair and initially we used to have fair and lovely, then we also got fair and handsome. And people who are too fair, they go to beaches and get tan. So why? Because people on the bodily platform, so they get bogged down by bodily challenges. But some people understand this body, this gross body is not all in all. There is also a subtle body where there is mind. So they try to harness the mental energy, the mind power. That means they work towards discipline, they work towards self-control, they work towards controlling the mind, they work towards giving challenges to the mind because they want to train the mind. And they know if the mind is happy, whatever the situation may be, you can be happy. Isn't it? Actually, it unlocks a deeper potential, the mind, understanding the subtle body. And some people, as Krishna speaks in the Bhagavad Gita, the 2nd chapter, he tells Arjuna, you are not even the mind. Mind is also a facility, a powerful facility. In 6th chapter he says, Bandhuratmatmanastasya yenatmayamatmanajitaha anatmanastu shatrutve vartetatmayam shatruvat. Krishna is telling Arjuna, do you know you have a worst enemy? Is not your neighbor, not your competitor in your company, not the one who got bonus and it wasn't you. Because your worst enemy is that person, is actually your own mind when it is uncontrolled. How many of you have uncontrolled mind here? Those of you who don't raise hands, you don't know. Actually, all our minds are uncontrolled. And Krishna says your best friend is that mind when it is controlled completely. So your uncontrolled mind is the worst enemy and your best friend is the controlled mind. That means you are the one who is going to control the mind. Yeah.
So you mean to say religion is just there to like discipline the mind?
Sorry?
Religion is in place.
No, I have not even talked about religion.
I'm asking that.
Okay.
Like, is religion just there to discipline the mind?
And much more. Religion, actually when we use the word religion in today's world, religion has many connotations, many understandings. Religion immediately means, blind rituals. Religion means unscientific, non-scientific. So therefore we use the word spirituality. Spirituality is to do with the spirit soul. That's what I'm coming to. So we are not this body, but we can use this body for a higher purpose. We are not the mind, but we can use the mind. Then who are we? And that's what Krishna tells Arjuna in the 2nd chapter of the Gita. Krishna says, Indriyani paranyahur indriyebhya param manaha manasastu para buddhe yo buddhe paratastu saha. Krishna is telling Arjuna that these sense objects, your senses, are superior to sense objects. How many senses do you have?
5.
8. Okay. 5. Actually, it's not 5.
6.
Not 6. 10 senses. What are they? Vijay, put a guess.
It's not 8 then 10.
Okay.
I heard 5.
It's 10. It's 10 senses. You have 10 senses. Anyone knows? No? Seniors? No, you aren't. You know.
Yeah. So 5 working senses and 5 knowledge acquiring senses. Knowledge acquiring senses are ear, eyes, nose, tongue, and skin.
Yeah.
And working senses are speech, hands, legs, rectum, and genital.
Correct. So these are the working senses. So how it works is, as we are in this material world, we are constantly interacting with the environment. So we are constantly gaining knowledge through Gyanendriya, or the knowledge acquiring senses, feeding into the mind, and the mind is processing, and then you act out the desires through Karmendriyas, the 5 working senses. So we have 10 senses. Get it? So Krishna is telling Arjuna in the 2nd chapter that above the sense objects are these senses, because you can use senses to control sense object. But above the senses is the mind, because mind is used to control senses. You direct the senses to the mind. But above the mind is intelligence. Intelligence. Because in using intelligence, you can tell the mind to shut up sometimes. Or sometimes you can feed mind ice cream. But using intelligence. And above the intelligence is, Krishna says, you, soul. So when we understand the knowledge of soul as described in 2nd chapter of the Gita, Krishna is unlocking the maximum ultimate potential of every living entity. And what is that potential? We can be happy without any limitation, without any sort of a boundary. How happy can you be? Unlimitedly happy. Why? Because the nature of soul is Sat Chit Anand. For the soul there is no death. For the soul there is no birth. Na jayate mrete vikarachit, nayam bhutva bhavitavana bhuyaha, ajo nityam shashvatoyam purano, na hanyate hanyamane sharire. Krishna says. So the body is killed, but you don't die. How is that possible? Body is killed, but you don't die. It's because you're not this body. Body is compared to a vehicle, and the soul is the driver of the vehicle. So to the degree we understand this concept, this is the fundamental. Actually, why am I revising fundamental? Because many new people are there. So to the degree we understand these fundamentals, to that degree Gita makes sense. Many people say, when I studied the Gita, it's very boring. Because they think it's like a chill out novel. You read when you are bored. No, it's actually a practical life manual. Gita is a life manual. So in the 2nd chapter, Krishna introduces this entire. Oh yes, please.
So is the goal of the soul to be happy?
Yeah, soul is always happy.
That's the goal.
Yeah.
Okay.
Are you happy?
Yeah.
Okay. The happiness in this world is hindered by something called the suffering. And the suffering is imposed mainly by Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadi, Dukkha Doshana Darshanam. That means birth, death, old age and disease. Nobody wants it, no one can avoid it, and it's common to all. So therefore the suffering in this world is, everyone has to die. Even if you acquire a PhD degree in physics, at the time of death, everything is snatched away. And next life when you are born, again Baba, black sheep, just a 3 months food, isn't it? Everything is lost. You cannot say, last time I did PhD in physics, can I continue my postdoctorate now? No, progress is lost. Therefore suffering is there. Everything is stripped away at the time of death. Yeah, that's okay. So therefore Krishna is explaining first to Arjuna that you are not this body, a spirit soul. You are beyond matter, and when you understand this, you unlock an unlimited amount of potential. Not just that. Actually, in this war, you're not even killing anyone, because everyone is a spirit soul. Don't use this on others. But this is what Krishna's one argument is. Actually, no one dies. Soul never dies. The body dies. Therefore, perform your dharma, he says. In the pursuit of dharma, this you can apply this philosophy. He's not, the other person is anyway not killed. He's on his journey of self-realization. And then in the 3rd chapter, 2nd chapter, Krishna tells Arjuna that Therefore, Arjuna, give up that which is abominable. So Krishna was referring to Arjuna's hindrance of fighting, the cowardice. He was not ready to pursue dharma. Krishna was referring to that. But Arjuna thought from another point of view. Arjuna thought when Krishna is saying give up that which is abominable, probably Krishna wants me to give up fighting. So now there was some miscommunication there. And therefore, third chapter, the beginning of third chapter is Arjuna is asking. So finally Krishna, tell me one thing. Do you want me to fight or not? You told me you have to fight, and then you are saying that I have to give up that which is abominable, which according to me is to fight the war. So what should I do? Then Krishna talks about Karma Yoga in the third chapter. So what is this Karma Yoga? Are you all with me now? You know? In the third chapter, what is this Karma Yoga? Krishna is telling Arjuna, he gives a choice to Arjuna. There is renunciation, part of renunciation, and there is part of karma. That means you work in this world, you act, you do something. And he says, Arjuna, if you think you are a perfected being, you have already attained moksha, liberation, you are not swayed away by any of the sense objects in this world, still you have to perform your duty. Because the great sages, the great saintly people, the great kings, they have done that. For example, he says, Janaka, who is a pure devotee, perfected being, he himself, he doesn't have to work, but still he performed the duty of king to set an example for society. Why? Because today you run away from battle, tomorrow people will run away from battle saying, Arjuna also ran away. So today I will also run away. So therefore Arjuna, if you say that you are a perfected being, still you should perform a duty to set example. And on the other hand, if you say that you are not a perfected being, then better do your duty. Don't directly jump to Vairagya. Why? Because even if you directly jump to Vairagya, the taste for the sense object still remains. Many people think today, nowadays, if you wear saffron shaven head, you get more money. Then sometimes in material world, you don't even get jobs. But in India, if you wear saffron, many people give you so many things. So people think it's a better business. But just by change of robes or clothes, you are not going to remove the contamination in the heart, lust, anger, greed. So Krishna says, if you externally showcase yourself as a saint, but internally dwell on the sense object, Mityachara Uchate Liga, he says. That means such a person is called as a pretender. So therefore, Arjuna, don't be a pretender. Just do your duty. If you are a student, study. If you are going to a company, work. But do it according to Vedic regulations. Krishna doesn't say you have to give up work, you have to give up everything. Whatever your position is, be there, do that, but at the same time, add Krishna factor to it. You want to eat? Okay, eat that which is permitted by Krishna. Offer it to Krishna and then eat, no problem. Therefore, you see our Sunday market, we have pizzas and cheesecake and everything. Yeah? So devotees, they have no dearth of prasadam. We also enjoy. But it is sanctioned enjoyment. So when Krishna is saying, if you want to enjoy in this world, enjoy. But you need two factors for it. It has to be sanctioned, it has to be sanctified. When you do it according to Vedic rules and regulations, sanctioned. That means Krishna says, okay, don't cut off someone's head for eating. Don't cut an animal's head for eating. Eat that which causes minimum violence. That means you take vegetarian food. And he says amongst vegetables also, some are considered tamasic, that can degrade your consciousness and hinder your thinking. Some are considered sattvic, which can nourish your consciousness. So prefer sattva. And then he says, once you follow the Vedic rules, and then now you see, whatever you have, you offer first to Krishna. When you offer it to Krishna, it becomes purified, and then you take. So what happens is you get something called as prasadam. What is prasadam? It is a sanctioned, sanctified diet. In this way, you will not get bound in this world, Krishna says. Yajñātā karmano nitya lokoyam karma bandhanaha. Krishna says, Yajñātāt karma, what is it? Yajñātāt karmano nyatra. That means when you do it for the purpose of sacrifice, you will not get bound. But if you do it for your sense gratification, I will do it because I want to do it. I don't care for the Vedic rules and regulations. Then you get bound. What do you understand by the word bound? You get bound to what? To this world, material world, to birth and death, to cycle of birth and death, to suffering. But what does it mean to get bound? Come again and again, okay. You become attached, and things in this world eventually have to be given up. Like I used to have one mic, is lost now. So, how much can you hold on to it? It had to be taken away, yes?
You said that you're having pizza and all that stuff about the sanction, right?
Sanction, sanctified, both.
Someone in the cruel mind like me make beef sanction.
You make beef sanction?
Offer to
And
Krishna.
who are you to sanction?
Offer to Krishna.
No, sanction means what? Who is the sanctioning authority?
Krishna, right?
Yeah. So who is it? When did he say? He says Patram Pushpam Param Toyam. He doesn't say Andam Neem Mam.
Huh? If you talk about Shiv, he's Param Vaishnav, right?
Yeah.
He accepts meat and everything. Or if we talk about some other avatars who are like Kali and all that stuff, they accept
Shakti.
Yeah. They accept alcohol.
Mm.
And you know that nothing is like everyone is like root of Krishna. So if he can accept and they can accept, then why not Krishna?
I think, yeah, okay. Well, Krishna, they're all different personalities, and Krishna doesn't personally accept.
Their demigods are accepted.
Demigods accept, but Supreme Person God is not accepted.
How?
So I will tell you.
They are
how-
Param Vaishnavas. Shiva is a Param Vaishnava, right?
Actually, even to say that Shiva takes meat, it's a highly questionable thing until unless you can show me one Vedic reference. Bring any Purana and show it to me.
We have heard.
Who cares about, I mean, you know the Radha Krishna serial? They are making up their own pastimes also. Yeah, it's not there. Radha Krishna. Many things are make up. If I tell you tomorrow I'm going to publish a scripture called as Arjuna Samhita, will you follow it? Just because it has the suffix Samhita? No. Arjuna Gita. Why? I am going to speak tomorrow. Will you follow it as a scripture? No, so many people, thousands of people say thousands of things. So you have to follow that which is authorized. Isn't it? In your school also, when you are studying, will you study any textbook? You would study that which is authorized textbook. Isn't it? If you are studying electrical engineering, there is a B.L. Tareja textbook. Isn't it? If you are studying mathematics for IIT preparation, it's H.D. Verma, R.D. Sharma. H.D. Verma, I think physics, huh?
Yeah.
HC Verma.
H.C. Verma. Too long is it? Isn't it?
So there's so much falsification in the market, in the spiritual
Right.
market.
Right.
How to segregate between the good and the bad? We don't know. What is bad, what is good.
Yes, so therefore, Srila Prabhupada has written Bhagavad Gita as it is.
Why should I believe on him?
Because you have to pay somewhere.
Why not on you then? If you are publishing one book, Arjuna, Gita, right? How can become a follower? People will come to you. You can become
Yeah,
a follower.
well, human beings are not senseless living entities. We are not like plants. We are not like animals without intelligence. Isn't it? We have a power of inquiry. So if I tell you that actually there is no electricity going on in these bulbs, will you believe me? Just because I said it? Why not?
You can touch it. We both can touch it and we can see if it's there or not.
Oh, you're not seeing electron. Have you seen electron? If I say actually there are no electrons going on, will you believe me or not?
It's a questionable thing.
It's a questionable thing, but you have to put faith to proceed ahead in life. You don't have to put one foot like this, you have to have faith that this floor is not going to fall down. So even anything in this world is based upon faith. But we don't propagate blind faith, we propagate reasonable faith. But faith is there.
You have to start from somewhere.
You have to start from somewhere. So what you do is we use something called as common sense, which is not very common. What is that common sense? That means say the scriptures said the word of God. Now why to put faith in scriptures? Because scriptures not only talk about spiritual subject matter, but they also talk about those things which we can relate to. For example, Vedic maths. Ever tried Vedic maths? fastest way of calculating anything. So you understand, okay, what scriptures are giving is something, there's some substance to it. Then they talk about astronomy, astrology, they talk about Vastu Shastra, they talk about metallurgy, isn't it? They talk about how cow dung has antiseptic properties even before the scientists found out. They said that plants have life even before Jagdish Chandra Bose actually got the Nobel Prize for it. So the Vedic scriptures, which is written thousands and thousands of years ago, can make these predictions which are very consistent and timeless. So now when you look at, through these things they've actually built up their credibility. Now you look at that subject matter which you cannot easily relate to, that is spiritual subject matter. So don't you feel it's easier to put faith because that which you know or what you connected with in a knowable field was actually right? So then it's called as reasonable faith. It makes sense because history shows it, or you can say the stats prove it.
Or it's working for other people as well.
It's working for other people. And Krishna tells in Bhagavad Gita in one of the chapters, I don't remember the verse, Krishna tells Arjuna, don't fear. Don't fear to practice what I'm saying because you're not the first recipient of this knowledge. Thousands of people have already heard it and perfected it by him. They attain perfection. So don't fear. There are many people who have done it and practiced it and perfected it. Okay, so therefore we want to put faith in Vedic literatures. And of course there's an entire, the Devas, we have an entire scientific presentation why to put faith in the Vedas. Otherwise, now if I say, how many of you believe in electrons here? Yeah, you believe in electrons. Some of you don't. Some of you don't care. So you believe in electrons personally? You don't believe in electrons?
It's there. Maths is there. Science is there. That's it. We haven't seen it, right?
No, but do you believe or not?
I just studied them. That's it. I don't know if it is there or not. Tomorrow can research. Tomorrow can be research.
So you don't believe it?
He's agnostic about it.
you don't care about it. Well, so for those of you who believe in electrons, protons, neutrons, now the science in physics they are coming up with this term called as boson particles. They say they are nothing, all this electron, proton, neutron, everything is a boson particle. I studied so much of electron and charges and everything in my 11th and 12th. So now they say there's nothing called as such. There was also one medical research paper which said there's nothing called as cholesterol. You tell the people who are worrying about their cholesterol. So in this way, we are ready to put faith in all these research papers, but then when it comes to Vedic knowledge, why not put faith? It actually has more credibility than any of these research. And one other point I wanted to mention is, we also put faith by the result what we see. So if I say there are no electrons, if I say that there are electrons flowing, but you cannot see it, but you can see the fruit of it. If electrons are there, in the opposite direction flows current. If current is there, light is glowing. So very fact that light is glowing, you can say electrons exist, according to theory. Isn't it? So can you see electrons? I cannot see electrons with my eyes, but I can see electrons with my knowledge. Yeah? So therefore Vedic literatures, when you apply, you see result. So the result you can make out that they work. Yeah? There is no blind faith. Therefore I kept two words, religion and spirituality. So many of the religious things today, they talk about this blind faith. They walk around with blind faith, blind rituals. God knows why we do this, God knows why we do that. So I want to keep it separate. So therefore we term it as spirituality. Yeah, does make sense? Okay. Or if you can just help me.
Prabhu,
Yes?
there is a research center in Europe where they displayed the Nataraja Swami for this invention of this particle. So they are also believing in our Vedas.
Okay. Yes. Yeah, there's also this Vimana Shastra, Dhanush Shastra, the archaeological survey done.
Yeah, so in the Vedas, so with the food, they say you have to eat the food that does the least amount of violence. Is that what they say specifically?
Yeah.
So there's like an argument.
Because Jivasya Jiva, no?
Yeah.
The nature of this material world is you have to, if you have to survive, there's some violence which is inevitable.
Mm-hmm. So there's an argument now, like with modern agricultural methods, like with the mass farming and stuff, you're killing a lot of insects and displacing a lot of habitat animals from their habitats. So actually, by eating like crops and stuff that are mass produced, you're hurting more animals that way rather than just eating one like cow or something that way.
Yeah, a good point. Actually, if you see, pain is perceived according to biology, according to development of nervous system. So the nervous system in plants, insects, and these creatures is very underdeveloped. You can correct me. Very underdeveloped that they cannot perceive so much pain. Whereas a cow is so conscious, if the master of the cow is even in Indian language 2 kilometers away, the cow can sense it. If a human lady is giving birth, cow can feel for her. You can understand the consciousness of the cow. So the amount of pain experienced by one cow is way too much compared to any other pain experienced by these creatures. Because there's no very underdeveloped nervous system or almost no nervous system. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So minimize the amount of pain, not violence, right?
Yeah, violence, usually when I say violence, the amount of pain.
Okay, yeah.
But why does the pain matter if everything's temporary? It's just the body in this material world. So like, it doesn't matter, right? Like there's the war and they're killing humans. So in the same way, the pain is temporary for the cow, right?
I mean, we can say from our perspective, if someone is doing something to us, we can say, okay, let me tolerate it because pain is temporary. But we cannot become hard-hearted to say, he's suffering. Your friend comes to you and says, I'm really undergoing depression. Oh, that's okay, you're not this body. You're not this mind. You're the spirit soul, just be happy. Then it makes us hard-hearted. Why is Krishna speaking this philosophy of Atma Jnana? First of all, we have to be aware to know how to deal, but at the same time, Krishna also talks about karma in the 4th chapter. That means I cannot say, oh, you foolish ant, you're so small and your life is worthless, and anyway your pain is negligible, so let me just crush you. Then you have to get the pain back. Whatever pain you have inflicted, you have to get it back. Why that system is there? So that we learn how to deal with the environment. Yeah? So, therefore in 2nd chapter only the science of soul is introduced, but there's much more, 16 more chapters.
So I have a question that if someone reincarnates into a carnivorous animal like a lion and he just kills for living, so he is getting some pap on his...
No, animals have no karma. No. Animals have no karma because they don't use intelligence. They don't pre-plan and strategize and plot. They work by instincts, animals. It's only on the human body. Therefore human body is so important according to Vedic scriptures. Why? Because it's only in the human form of life you can actually think. Just imagine, there's a slaughterhouse and there's a butcher sitting inside who is sharpening his, what they call it, machete or whatever, the big knife. So now, say there are goats tied outside the slaughterhouse, and to calm them down, there's fresh grass given, and they're all happily eating. Now one goat goes in, gets killed, and the second goat is just happily eating, isn't it? They don't mind. But now, on the contrary, just imagine outside the slaughterhouse, where inside which there's a butcher sharpening his knife, all of us are made to stand outside in a line, so that one by one we'll be executed. And we have been given iPads, laptops to get distracted. That's our fresh green grass. Will we keep quiet? No, we will throw away all our gadgets and run away from there. Why? We can think. We can inquire. Why should I suffer? The goat cannot inquire. Why am I suffering? Who am I? What is the goal of life? It is only one inquiry it has. Where is my food? After food, where can I sleep? After sleep, where is my food?
So if we eat also plants and vegetables, so we are also taking the life of the plant by harvesting their fruits and vegetables. So is this not...
When you take a fruit of a plant, you are not causing any pain. Fruits, no problem. It's when you eat the roots. I was joking. But yeah, generally fruits and vegetables, there's not much pain. But yeah, sometimes we eat the stem, like sugar cane maybe. But still, the violence committed is low. Yeah.
So if animals don't have any karma, on what basis do they get next life?
Good question. Actually, whatever bodies are planned in succession. It's all done in the human form of life. So if I have cultivated desire 1, desire 2, desire 3, desire 4, and I also have enough credit, so now the next life I get body 1 for desire 1, provided my credit allows. Then I get body 2 for desire 2. In succession, after body 1, I get body 2 to fulfill desire 2. Provided my credit allows. Then body 3 for desire 3, body 4 for desire 4. Like that, they finish off some of the desire, fulfill, come back to human form. Therefore, humans do karma. Therefore, 4th chapter, Krishna was explaining, last time we saw, in the recent past we saw, Krishna was explaining, for you Arjuna, you have to determine what is action, what is inaction. You have to distinguish. You cannot just, as they say, just do it. If you just do it, you will just suffer it. You cannot just. Why? Because we are not animals. An animal in India you will find on the street vendor, he has his cabbages and vegetables. So a bull goes and starts chewing the cabbage. So the person comes and he whacks the bull with a stick and he kicks out the bull from there. The bull goes, again it sees the vegetable cart, again it comes back and starts chewing. Say your friend told you, get out of my home, never come back again. Will you again go back to the home? We are more sensitive. We think, we use intelligence. Does that make sense? So the bodies, anyway, your question was bodies. So the bodies are given, everything is formed, everything is planned in the human form of life.
Is it possible to get like human body and fulfill all your desires instead of like getting one body for one desire?
No, if you really want to enjoy eating meat, human body is the worst. Like if you really want to drive fast, don't go for Maruti 800. Go for Bugatti. You can actually drive fast. It's like that. So if you really want to eat meat, why would you? If you really want to enjoy eating meat, tiger's body is where you really get to enjoy. So it's like Krishna's mercy if you get that body. So you can actually fulfill your desire. Human body is very pathetic in such cases. Yeah? Yes.
So when you get married, they say Saat Janam Tak, right? So they say like when you get married, you go around the fire, whatever, 7 times, right? Is that 7 versions of the human, or is it like what is that? Why do we say for 7 generations? Yeah.
It is of the human beings. Yeah, animals no marriage.
Okay, right. So it's just you do come back 7 times as a human.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, at the back.
It's all made up. That's why. That you will live.
Yeah, even I was thinking it's made up, but one of Prabhu Vishnu, he went to an astrologer, and the astrologer said actually you and your fiance, you have been in touch for last couple of years.
If the next life is based upon karmas, the wife is making her own karmas, the guy is making his own karma, right? So if the guy's eating beef and all those things, if the wife is like very religious or spiritual, how can they get the same life the next time?
It may not be next life.
Oh, what?
It could be any time.
Huh?
It could be any time. I mean, I don't see why the probability has to be 0. Why not? I mean, I don't see that it's completely impossible. It could be possible, but I cannot say it is like that. I'm studying this thing, but it is possible.
But it's not limited to 7 times, right?
Up to you. I mean, people don't get married and stay completely married in one life. 7 lives.
No, I'm talking about taking a human life. It's not.
Oh, no, taking a human life you can keep taking. I mean, we have already spent millions of lifetimes.
This is good. How to keep remembrance of all this. One life is gone, but life is we can't even remember that 9 months we spent in that cage, right? As Vedas and all that stuff, that's a cage. If you are spending 9 months over there, we forgot all of that. This life will be gone as well. We are not doing anything, but we don't even know that we did anything.
You keep attending weekly Gita classes sincerely, 7 to 8 p.m. Rest assured you'll remember. We'll put faith.
But isn't there like a theory where I think in Bhagavad Gita it's where Krishna tells, if I give you the prior knowledge of your janmas, it'll be more harmful than me giving you a new life without any prior knowledge, right? Because just imagine you're born somewhere else and
Yeah, of course. The past, the remembrance, the memories of past lives, therefore, or
Are
removed.
removed for that.
Otherwise, we cannot enjoy freely.
So the souls
I was
on
going to
this
say, coming back to Bhagavad Gita.
the souls on this planet are like limited. Like if
No,
they're
it's
like
unlimited. Number of souls is
yeah, but
unlimited.
if humans get rebirth in human form, that's the final stage until unless they liberate themselves. So are there souls coming from other
Yeah.
planetary systems over here,
Yeah, it
or
could be
it's all
anything.
recycled over here?
It could be anything.
So there's no number count.
No, it's all unlimited. The number of universes the Vedas explain, and of course the science is also saying the concept of multiverse. Multiverse comes from multiple universes. And physics also says the Vedas say the number of universes is equal to. I don't think you'll be able to digest this. If you take a sack and fill it up with mustard seeds up to its brim, that's how many number of universes are there. We want to talk about number of souls, which means every insect has a soul, every dog has a soul, every plant has a soul, every germ has a soul, every COVID virus has a soul. So you cannot.
So if someone's born in a Muslim family or a Christian family, they would have faith in their religion.
No problem.
So there might be certain rules that are permitted if I'm born in a Muslim family and I follow Islam. There might be certain principles that I could practice, like eating meat is allowed or like smoking
Yeah,
tobacco
correct.
is allowed.
Yeah.
But then
In Vedic world also eating meat is allowed.
okay.
Shaktas, they eat meat. The Shaktas, Ganapatyas, Surya worshippers, called as Shauryas, then Shaivites, Vaishnavas. The Vaishnavas we don't eat meat, but Shaktas are allowed. They are allowed 5 mas. I mean, Mamsa, Meena, Madira. Mamsa is meat, Meena is fish, Madira is liquor, and Mani is another word for that, and Maithun, 6. They are allowed. Shaktas. But Vaishnavas, therefore I was very question about Shaivites. I don't know if it's really allowed. It's only for the Shaktas. Worship Shakti. Therefore Kali worshippers, they eat meat.
The tantric.
Yeah. But there's a process, not unrestricted slaughterhouse, and you just purchase meat from the store and say, they're Mahakali and eat. There's a process of eating.
Is it coming from old days, or is it like?
It's in the Vedas. I don't know where exactly, but it's in the Vedas.
So it's there.
Is there meat eating is allowed, but for whom? That is the question. So there are different levels of people based on what consciousness they have. So the different for people of very low consciousness, they say who are really wanting to eat meat. Vedas say, okay, don't worry, just follow this process and you eat meat. Like even in Islam, I think Islam or in Kali worshipping only. If they have to eat meat, they have to say in the ear of the animal, they have to say Mamsaha. That means this life I am killing you. Next life, I will be you. Mamsaha. I will be you. That is meat. So that means tomorrow you can kill me. And then they distribute 6 parts to others and 1 part they can eat. 1/7 meat. Today wholesale. That is not allowed. That is unrestricted. That is not in the Vedic fold. Therefore, it's not sanctioned. So I was speaking about how Krishna tells Arjuna, he gives 2 options. If you are a perfected being, still you perform karma yoga to set example. If you are not perfected being, still that means you better perform karma yoga because you cannot jump for vairagya. Otherwise, you become a pretender. That means you bring a bad name to the saints. And then he talks about karma yoga, and towards the end, Krishna gives a hint that very basis of our existence in the material world is because of enjoying propensity, kama. And that's what he talks about in the end of the 3rd chapter. And Arjuna says, but how do I overcome kama? Lust, enjoying propensity, to enjoy unrestrictedly. Then Krishna begins the 4th chapter where he talks about transcendental knowledge. This knowledge is not normal knowledge. Not taught in schools, not taught in universities, not taught in companies, nowhere. Only in temples. This knowledge is called Divya Gyan. Krishna says in 4.10 if you refer, Krishna says the benefit of knowing this knowledge. 4.9 and 4.10 both. You will go, after knowing this knowledge, you will not take birth again in this material world. That means no more job search, no more interviews, no more competitive exams, nothing. Completely free. So like that Krishna says. And later on he is talking about karma. He has introduced karma. And then, one verse is Krishna, we discussed one class on, Krishna said, what is inaction? No, the most intelligent person is one who can see action in inaction and inaction in action. He is the most intelligent person. So from 16th to 24th verse, Krishna is explaining the symptoms of that person who can see inaction in action. What does that mean, inaction in action? Fingers? Yeah, what is action in action and inaction in action?
So basically, action and action is if you're a brahmachari, for example, and you're
No,
not.
you can even talk about normal stuff. You don't have to be brahmachari for that.
No, I'm just giving an example.
Give some student example.
Okay, I mean, if you're a student and I know the brahmachari example easily.
That means
So
it only
like-
applies to me. That's fine.
No, I mean, I think you'll understand the gist. So basically, like action and action is we are working so hard to earn money, and but like is that like helping us to advance spiritually? So that means we have taken an action, but the eventuality is like nothing's happening because we're not advancing our consciousness. Now in action, did I explain the opposite? I think so, yeah. So I think I've explained the opposite. In action and action. Oh my god, it's confusing.
Anyone else wants to give a try?
So in action is that, let's say you are working like a corporate job, right? You are working
Correct.
like 9 to 5.
Yes.
So you think that you are contributing like a lot or you are doing a lot of stuff, but technically you are not making any spiritual progress. So that is in action in action. Action in action is
That means you're doing material progress but no spiritual progress. It sums up to zero.
Zero. Action in inaction is that, let's say someone who is chanting 16 rounds, or like who is like
one
reading the
round.
shastras,
One round.
or one round, or like anything, doing just any kind of spiritual progress,
activity.
even like one name, or so the world might see that as like he or she is not
एक या
doing,
बस जब भी करता रहता है.
yeah, they
Not
might
काम नहीं कर रहे.
not contributing to GDP.
yeah, but like actually that person is the one that is making some actual progress, because spiritual
Correct.
progress is
That is action in inaction.
action in action. That
Is that clear? Action in action, action, action. So Krishna says such a person is an intelligent person. He's a learned person, Pandita. So now from verse 16 to 24, Krishna is talking about the symptoms of such a person who can see inaction, action. So therefore, now this verse 20. So because we have this verse and already time, we just touch upon the verse and go ahead. All of your prasadam is secure. You don't have to worry about it. So if you look at this verse, Tyaktva karma phalas, you want to repeat? Tyaktva karma phala sangam Nitya tripto nirashrayah Karmanyabhi pravittopi Naiva kinchit karoti saha. Would someone like to read the translation purport loudly? Someone from this close to the iPad, the Zoom also.
Abandoning all attachment to all the results of his activities, ever satisfied and independent, he performs no fruitive action, although engaged in all kinds of undertakings.
Yeah, that means a person who is undergoing a spiritual practice, who can see inaction in action. That means that person is pursuing spiritual life. Such a person, how does he deal with his work, with his surrounding, with the environment? First of all, he abandons attachment to the results of his activities. That means he works, but he is detached from the fruit. Very difficult. You work, you put effort, but then you be detached from the fruit, whatever comes. Why? And actually, if you understand how it works, you will understand it's very natural to be detached. It's only when we think, I am the cause of my fruit. Because of my hard work, I am in this company today. Because of my hard work, I am earning so much money. Because of my hard work, I have earned a status. So then one thinks, because I am the doer, one becomes attached to the fruit. So in 3rd chapter itself, Krishna has told Arjuna that actually you are not the doer. He has talked about earlier also, he said, Karmanyevadikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana. Ma karma phala hetur bhur ma te sangos pakarmani. Thank you. Yeah, karma niyavadikaraste means Arjuna, you should do your duty. Karma niyavadikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana, but don't expect fruit. I mean, what kind of advice is this? We work because we want fruit. How can you work without expectation of fruit? Why? Krishna says, Ma karma phala hetu bhur, because this karma phala is not, you are not the cause of this fruit of action. That means, I mean, it would be great if I could have shown you through diagram. But say you are working, W1 is your work, F1 is your fruit. So you put work, W1, and you think W1 results in F1. Yeah? So what Krishna is saying, you put W1, work, but F1 is not because of a W1, it is because of, or you can say it's not just because of a W1, it is also because of other factors called as karma. So Krishna gives F1. Yeah? You put W1, that means you have said, if someone says, okay, if my work is not going to give me fruit, then I'll not put any effort. Then forget. That means you don't even deserve any fruit. Even what Krishna was about to give, he'll not give. The example is given when a farmer sows seeds in the land. Now the rain has to come. That's Krishna's mercy. And him sowing the seeds is his endeavor. So both of them together gives a fruit, crop. Now when he hears about karma, he says, oh, everything is karma? Okay, I'll not sow seeds. Now if he doesn't sow seed, then rains will come to give him a crop, but because he didn't put endeavor, he doesn't deserve any fruit. Are you able to understand? So what Krishna is saying, ma karma phala hetu bhur mate sangasva karmani. Krishna says, you have to put your work. As soon as you put your work, some F is created. But that F may not be F1. Because this F1 was created as a fruit of your past some other action. So based on your karma, Krishna arranges the fruits. Okay, to understand this, how many of you had this experience? You really put so much endeavor for something. And I have this personal experience. For example, for an interview. One place I put almost no endeavor. And I got the interview. Whereas all the other 9.5 pointers, they were all sitting and they didn't get the job. But I got the job. So on the other hand, sometimes you put a lot of effort, but you didn't make it. Whereas someone your Y is undetermined. So if you put W1, it gives you some Fy which you don't know, but Krishna gives you F1. But we don't know which fruit is that. That's according to our past karma. But if you don't work at all, then you don't deserve any fruit. Whatever fruit you were supposed to get, that also you will receive. Does make some sense? And we have spent too many classes already on discussing this karma niyavadikaraste, the most famous sloka. So why was I talking about this karma niyavadikaraste? What was it saying before that?
Work one equal F1.
Action.
Yeah. I mean before karma niyavadikaraste.
Action in action.
Action. No, after that. Yeah, I mean, way after that. Yes, so I was talking about this verse. Krishna is saying the person who is pursuing spiritual life, he abandons attachment to activities. Yeah, such a person has lost, he abandons attachment to the fruits of his activities. Why? Because he understands the fruit, my endeavor is not the only factor, many other factors. So what is the point of getting attached to something you may not get? It only puts you in more frustration. Agree or not? Isn't it? So first symptom of such a person is that he gives up. He abandons attachment to results of his activities, one. Second one is he is satisfied with whatever comes his way. Someone treated you well, satisfied. Oh, that was nice. Someone didn't treat you well, no problem. No problem, he's undergoing a bad day. He's having a bad day. Be detached. So he remains ever satisfied with whatever he gets. He is not hankering for too much of material acquisition. Third is, such a person is written as independent. Let's see the words. Tattva karma phala asangam. Asangam. Nirashrayaha. Karma ani avipravrittaha. Okay, he says independent. He performs no fruitive action. Other one is he doesn't put endeavor to get a material gain, because he knows many things are done by karma itself, isn't it? So he doesn't put material gain, endeavor for material gain, although engaged in all kinds of undertaking, but still he performs his duty. This is a characteristic Krishna is saying of a person who is pursuing spiritual life. And one may think, what kind of life is this? Actually, to live like this, you will be very happy, peaceful in the mind.
But wouldn't that promote mediocrity?
No, it won't.
How if no one's ambitious, they all would be happy living a normal life?
Sorry? Can you speak up?
I'm saying, like, if no one has desires for something, then they would just be happy with whatever they get in
No,
life.
I'm not saying you should become desireless. Not possible. I'm saying if one is pursuing spiritual life, that means he is ambitious to make spiritual progress. Then such a person, what he does is he understands the material world for what it is. That means if someone says, okay, I will become rich. Now there's so many people working hard. Every day morning they get about 5 a.m. You look at Pune, Mumbai, train. How many people are working hard? 3 hours they travel in the daytime, nighttime 3 hours back. Whole day they're working 4 hours of sleep. Working much more than us. But they are still, wherever they are. They are not rich. But sometimes, some people are born rich. So how do you explain that? If hard work is the metric, how do you explain that? I'm not saying we should not put hard work, but we should know what's the limit. Yeah?
And Krishna is still telling you to perform your duty.
Yeah.
So you do your duty.
Yes.
And just don't look for result
Actually, a fruitive worker who is doing duty with the intention of getting fruits, he becomes very frustrated. Any Indian, at least Indian boys know this. After exam, you finish your maths exam, and because you're very eager to discuss the paper, what happens? You become very frustrated because you thought I did very well in this paper. Then you discuss your questions with everyone else, and then you say, okay, there's a silly mistake here. I missed this question. I never knew there's a questions printed on the back side of the paper. Yeah, then you get frustrated because you're working for the fruit. Now, when can you perform good work? When you're frustrated or when you're peaceful? Peaceful. So Krishna is actually giving a tip for smart work. If you're detached from the fruit, but you have aim on the fruit, then you can work better. He's not saying you don't work. That Krishna in the third chapter only, Krishna said no, you have to work, Arjuna.
Yes. He's also saying don't overwork.
Yeah, don't put donkeys in the work. 1 carrot walk whole distance, whole day. Don't put that also. Smart work. Yeah. So these are the qualities mentioned in this verse. What is it? Detached from the results of activities, satisfied, and he performs no fruitive action. Then one can actually make spiritual progress. So I thought my duty to at least touch upon this verse. I spent too much time just speaking on just revising the concept because a lot of new people are there. Anyway, maybe next week we will do some justice. We will complete 21 to 24 symptoms. In the 20th verse, he's saying the symptoms of one who is still a sadhaka, undergoing the path. And 21 to 24, he gives the symptoms of one who has achieved the path. And then we'll see further on next time. Maybe we can just, since this the further 3 or 4 verses talk about symptoms of one who has achieved the path, we'll just go through it. Because what is more relevant is symptoms of a sadhaka for us. So can we just go through it? Fine. Can you please repeat 21? Nirasheryata chittatma Tyakta sarva parigraha Shariram kevalam karma Kurvanapnoti kilvisham. Can you read? What's your name again? Dharvana.
Dharvana, yeah.
Can you read?
The English?
Yeah, translation.
For 21?
Yeah.
Yeah. Such a man of understanding acts with mind and intelligence perfectly controlled, gives up all sense of proprietorship over his possessions, and acts only for the bare necessities of life. Thus working, he is not affected by sinful reactions.
Yeah, this means what you were saying, no ambition. He works for the bare necessities of life. But this is in a perfected stage. He has tends to, we have mathematics, like no tending towards matter at all, no position of matter. We just go to translation. Yadricchalabha santushto Dvanvatito vimatsarah Samasiddha vasiddhau cha Kritvapi na nibhadyate.
He who is satisfied with gain which comes from his own accord, who is free from duality and does not envy, who is steady in both success and failure, is never entangled, although performing actions.
So such a person is always satisfied because he's happy with everything, satisfied, and he's free from duality. He doesn't. There is no happiness, distress, success, failure. He's not affected by any of these dualities. Heat, cold. He's always equipoised in all situations. In a perfect stage. Okay, 23rd. Gatasangasya muktasya Jnanavastita chetasaha Yajñāya charata karma Samagram pravaliyate.
The work of a man who is unattached to the modes of material nature and who is fully situated in transcendental knowledge merges entirely into transcendence.
What does this mean, merge into transcendence? That means his consciousness becomes completely merged in transcendence. That means 24/7 he's only thinking about spiritual things, thinking about Krishna's names, Krishna's pastimes, thinking about how he can share Krishna consciousness with others 24/7 in a perfected stage. As of now, we have to think about my food, my dinner, my work. But such a person who has attained perfected stage, his mind is always situated in transcendental platform. And the last verse for today. Okay, how many traders came problem? Can you okay, I got it. Brahmarpanam Brahmahavir Brahmagnav Brahmanahutam Brahmaiva tena gantavyam Brahmakarma samadhina. Can you read? Translation.
A person who is fully absorbed in
Krishna consciousness.
Krishna conscious is sure to attain the spiritual kingdom because of his contribution to spiritual activities, in which the consummation is absolute and that which is offered is of the same spiritual nature.
Yeah. For this we need some understanding. This we will do next time. And in this. Okay, from here, Krishna talks about how the importance of performing yajna. Actually, in this world, to gain something, we all have to perform sacrifice. So now Krishna mentions different kinds of people on different paths. The karmis, the jnanis, the yogis, the bhaktas, everyone, they all make some sacrifice. What do they sacrifice to get what is mentioned further on? So we will touch upon the principle of sacrifice, how we can adopt it in our day-to-day life, everything next week. Is that okay? We will stop it here, 4:24. Grantha Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki Jai. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Thank you very much. All of you are patiently sitting on the floor, cross-legged. This itself is big tapasya for the sake. Thank you. Hare Krishna. The dinner will be served here in the restaurant. Is it?
I have to check. I don't know if you have questions.
Okay, can you check? He'll guide you where the prasad will be. Thank you. Yes?
I have a question. And now about one of the slokas.
Yeah.
So in chapter number 4, 7 sloka, sorry, 8 sloka.
In chapter 4, 4.8?
Yeah, 4.8.
Okay.
like Paritrana Sadhana.
Right.
Alright. So in the last paragraph it says that as he says that Lord says that he incarnates himself in every millennium, right? And this indicates that he incarnates also in the age of Kali.
Kali,
Now,
yes.
like, yeah. So here it says that he will be coming in the form of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's.
Yes. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is mentioned.
Hello.
Am I audible? Hare Krishna. I cannot hear you for some reason. Are you able to hear me? Can others hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So I don't know why we are not able to hear, I think, Alai Pandya.
Hello.
Okay, now, am I audible now?
Yeah, I'm audible. So here it says that he is be appearing in the form of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and also like it also says that the Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is not like killing any of the demons or anything, but he's just
He is killing the demoniac propensities.
yeah, but he is just awareing the Sankirtana, like yeah. So, but whatever, like maybe I don't know, it's a rumor or anything.
No, this is actually supported by Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Purana, which is the essence of all scriptures. It's also supported by Vishnu Sahasranama. You have heard of Vishnu Sahasranama before?
Yeah.
Vishnu Sahasranama talks about it, Mahabharata talks about it. So many.
Exactly. So this avtara is like a Kalki avtara, right?
No, this is not Kalki Avtara. Kalki comes at the end of Kali Yuga. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is different
so
from
there will be two avtaras in Kali Yuga.
Yeah, correct, yes.
Oh, okay, got it. That's what I was having a doubt that like if he is just coming as a form of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, then how he will kill the demons?
Correct, yeah. So actually Kalki comes only at the fag end of Kali Yuga when people become incorrigible. You cannot help them anymore. So that time Kalki comes with a weapon and cuts off everyone's head. That's all he does.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you all of you for your patient hearing. Okay, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Can I ask one question?
Yes.
My question is, how can we identify what is our dharma while we are in situations where we have to make choices?
Good question. Actually, there's a saying, more you sweat in peace, less you bleed in war. So instead of using a reactive approach, we need a proactive approach. Proactive approach means when the times are calm, that is the time you have to pick up Bhagavad Gita and study. That's how you get to know what is. Am I audible?
Yeah, my connection is weak. Can you repeat what you said, please?
Yeah. I was saying that there's a saying that the more you sweat in peace, the less you bleed in war. That means if we in our life, the best approach is proactive approach and not reactive approach. Reactive approach means when you are in a situation, now you're thinking, okay, what is my dharma? Instead of that, we need, when things are calm, that is the time you have to study the Bhagavad Gita. And Krishna, when you study the Bhagavad Gita, dharma becomes very clear.
Thank you.
That makes sense?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So Anita is saying that sometimes she cannot hear. Yeah, I don't know, something is, I think maybe I need to get a better Wi-Fi, probably it's here. Wi-Fi
Yeah,
is
it
poor.
was coming in and out.
Throughout?
Throughout sporadically it used to come, like it get like, it gets static and then it will get, we won't hear anything and then we'll have it in the back, like that.
Okay, thank you for this feedback. Next time I'll get a better Wi-Fi connection.
But I'm traveling, so I thought maybe it's mine, but looks like it's probably
Everyone's heard.
amount. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry for the inconvenience, but I think
No,
hopefully
no,
we should
no.
have some better Wi-Fi next time.
Mm.
Okay, thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Krishna.
You Bangalore?
ಬೆಂಗಳೂರು ಮಲ್ಲೇಶ್ವರಂ.
Malleshwaram. You have gone to ISKCON Shishadipuram?
ಇಲ್ಲ ಸರ್ ಇಸ್ಕಾನ್ ರಾಜಾಜಿನಗರ್
ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋಗಿದ್ರಾ? Okay, very good.
ರೆಗ್ಯುಲರ್ ಆಗಿ ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೆ.
Okay, very good, very good. ಎಲ್ಲಿ ನೀವು ಓದಿದ್ದು ಮೆಡಿಕಲ್?
ನಿಜಲಿಂಗಪ್ಪ ಮೆಡಿಕಲ್ ಕಾಲೇಜ್ ಬಾಗಲಕೋಟೆ.
Bagalkote.
But
Actually, my brother is also doctor. He is studying Bangalore Medical College.
ಬಟ್ ಪಿ ಯು ಓದಿದ್ದು ಬೆಂಗಳೂರು MES ಕಿಶೋರ್ ಕೆ ಮಲ್ಲೇಶ್ವರಂ.
Okay, very good. ಇಲ್ಲಿಂದ observation in 2 months?
ಇಲ್ಲ 1 month.
1 month observation. Observation ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಿ ನೀವು?
ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ಸ್ ಇರ್ತಾರಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಆಲ್ರೆಡಿ ಪ್ರಾಕ್ಟೀಸಿಂಗ್ ಇನ್ US. ಅವ್ರ ಅಂಡರ್ ವರ್ಕ್ ಮಾಡೋದು.
Okay.
ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಟು ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡ್ US ಮೆಡಿಕಲ್.
And then you apply for USMLE and then
USMLE step 1 step 2 ಆಗಿದೆ.
Okay, step 3 you have to do.
Step 3
And then you can get residency.
Residency.
Very good. I know this thing because my brother was also doing the same things.
Okay.
Very nice. What's your name again?
Swaroop.
Swaroop. And it's Arjun Anand Das. Very nice to meet you.
Same.
You stay in Brooklyn or?
Brooklyn.
Brooklyn, very nice. Ever time is there birthday? Next 1 month. You just came to US?
No, 3 weeks back.
3 weeks ago. So last week.
This is my last week.
Oh, we missed you. Very nice. Very nice to meet you, Suresh.
Sir, I just had one question.
Okay.
ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಲೈಫಲ್ಲಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನಾದರೂ ಒಂದು ಇನ್ಸಿಡೆಂಟ್ ಇತ್ತಾ ಸ್ಪಿರಿಚುವಲ್ ಲೈಫ್ ತಗೊಳ್ಳೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಪರ್ಸನಲ್?
Honestly speaking, not really. I just felt, I grew up in Dubai before. Then I came to India for my undergrad in an AP source because I was studying. That's when I met the devotees. So when I actually met the devotees and started studying the Bhagavad Gita, I found it made a lot of sense compared to my materialistic life that I had led before. How much ever you go out, eat in restaurant, go to Pizza Hut, go here, go there. It never really gave me satisfaction and a purpose to life as much as what Gita gave. Actually, it's as simple. That's all there is. Nothing really tragic happened for which I dedicate all my temples. One reason is also because my teacher, he's going to all the IITs and NITs and he's opening centers where he teaches the students all this knowledge in a scientific way. So I was very touched by his mission. So I thought I want to help him in some way. Yeah, that's my real motivation.
ಸೊ ಅದೇ ಅದೊಂದು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಯೂಶಲಿ ಯಾರು ಅಷ್ಟು ಈಸಿಯಾಗಿ ಸ್ಪಿರಿಚುವಲ್ ಲೈಫಿಗೆ ಬರೋದಿಲ್ಲ.
Correct. Yeah, but anyone can practice from whatever position. You can be a doctor and practice. But sometimes you need some dedicated people to, because whole day I'm only thinking about going and teaching to people. So it's some dedicated effort is also required. When we have family and occupation, then to give dedicated effort to this is not possible.
One more question.
Yes.
ಸ್ಪಿರಿಚುಯಾಲಿಟಿಲಿ ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರೆಸ್ ಆಗೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಮದುವೆ ಆಗಬಾರ್ದು ಅಂತಾರಲ್ಲ?
ಏನಿಲ್ಲ. Actually, in our ISKCON society itself, 95% plus, even 99% are married. Only 1%, less than 1% brahmacharis. Yeah, if you count sannyasis, brahmacharis, everyone, less than 1%. Yeah, 99 plus 99% male married. And they are all doing a lot of service for Krishna and society and everything. So whatever you have to be a doctor, but a Krishna conscious doctor. Someone is engineer, you should be a Krishna conscious engineer. That's most important. Because devotion is what really counts. Krishna doesn't see the color of clothes. Okay, saffron. Okay, you pass. Or not saffron, get out. He doesn't do that. He sees really how much of your heart is really for Krishna. That's what he sees. Whatever position you will be.
One last question. As you have read all these texts, as a doctor, how do you think I can apply Krishna consciousness in my professional life?
Very good question. Actually, you can see that the patients you treat, they're all actually, they're not the bodies, they're spirit souls. They have this vehicle as the body, but you can treat them with compassion, and you yourself can understand that there's so much of suffering in this world. Definitely, any doctor will say that. And you can also give them, sometimes doctors have to comfort the patients. You can give them Bhagavad Gita, read the Bhagavad Gita, tell them to read some section of the Gita, tell them to spread Bhagavad Gita. Just as a doctor in society, when you yourself a Krishna conscious doctor, you are actually telling others that when they study Bhagavad Gita and apply in their life, they actually become peaceful. Otherwise, just imagine materialistic people dying. For them, it's such a tragic thing because they're attached to so many things in their life. And death means they have to give up everything. As a devotee, we understand everything belongs to Krishna. So death becomes very less painful. Yes, the body will die. Actually, the body is dead. At the time of death, the soul does leave the body. But then, when you are less attached to everything, okay, this laptop, the iPad belongs to Krishna, phone belongs to Krishna. Krishna has put it in my custody so I can do some service. So at that time of death, Krishna is taking away. So I am not attached. In that way, when I leave this world, I will not suffer so much. But materialistic people, they are literally hugging everything. They are thinking, my iPad, and death will snatch it from them. Isn't it? That time, Ayurveda says 40 to 60,000 scorpion bites, death.
And even in Garuda Purana, it is
Garuda
mentioned.
Purana, correct. Yes. So therefore, you tell them, if you really want to minimize your suffering, study the Bhagavad Gita, understand what it is. Then like that you can do prachar. That's okay?
Just listening to this last 3-4 sentences is so calming.
Yeah, it's true.
And how do we get links to your classes?
We put it on Gita Life New York City. Online is there, on YouTube channel. All this is live stream.
So you just need to subscribe to that channel.
Yes.
Gita Life?
Gita Life New York City.
Because I like it. I can spend 1 hour. I think it will be on Monday for us in India.
Correct.
No, that's
Yes.
okay. I can do it.
And also you can come in touch with my brother. That's what he's doing. In BMC he has opened a club and he has now a separate facility where he's teaching students about what is Bhagavad Gita. And he has a twin brother, so he looks like me.
Okay.
But in Dr. Mish. That's me. When you go back, maybe I'll keep you in touch with him also. Right.
I have one question. So in chapter 4,
Today, speak of me. So, I only touched Bhagavad Gita literally last 10 minutes.
rest was all revision like the last
Yeah.
one. Was he in 4.24?
Brahma Tam Brahma.
There's this line.
Brahma Sutam. Brahma Putam. And that is offered. It's of the same spiritual nature. What's wrong?
I cannot connect it. Like, what does it mean?
Actually, this will require a lot of explanation. I didn't explain this. Next time we'll do this. Basically, we're saying in a yajna, when you're doing anything for Krishna, for example, say you're taking your car to drive to a temple. Car becomes spiritual because it's an instrument to Krishna Seva. Then car is spiritual. Then you are calling up devotee. Hey, please come and take me from my home. Pick me up and drop me.
It becomes spiritual.
Yes. Whatever instrument is used, that is one. If you see, the instrument in yajna is also spiritual. The goal is spiritual, going back to God. The temple, where you practice spiritual life is also spiritual. So that is what it means. Anything you connect to Krishna becomes spiritual. But anything you connect to not Krishna becomes material. That is all. This is my understanding. I have to read Prabhupada's purport. Okay, Prabhuji. Dear Prabhuji, see these Prabhus.